Good morning. Our hand today is going to be 9-8 of clubs. We are under the gun, open raise, and I get two callers. Start with this player. He's 24, 16, 10. 3-bet range looks to be queens plus ace queen. In mid position, he plays 18% with 3-bet, about 8%. 16% called 2-bets. So I kind of think he's playing in that like upper teens in terms of calling. This is 16%. It's probably reflects what he has. I'm curious though, maybe his 3-bet range isn't large enough to reflect this number. This is 12 out of 120. It's possible that he's gotten pretty lucky. But, I mean, these numbers, queens plus ace king, almost represents 4%. We're still quite a bit off. So I kind of think maybe he would do this. Maybe he's 3-betting a little bit wider, or he'll keep this tight 3-bet because I'm in early position. I should have a much stronger range, and if he's playing me, he probably is recognizing that I'm fairly tight. My number's probably 13 to 15% overall for the VPIP. I'm just gonna go with this range, 16%, and be done with it. This guy, 15 hands, I have no information on him. I'm just gonna do like a 30% range. He's in the big blind. I guess we'll say queens plus ace king. I think is what he could 3-bet. He'll have his suited aces, suited kings, and so forth. We've seen ranges something like this where guys are just playing. They've got a lot of hands. They're just calling to see flops and hoping to get lucky. So we see a board of 9-4-3, rather dry. Probably doesn't hit anyone, myself included. So when we look at our ranges, we're going to assume that he checks to us. We can think about what is our cbet range, and as you'll notice, I don't really have any decent draws. We've got gut shots, maybe. We've got some backdoors, we've got some overcards, and that's about it. Three-way pot, I think we're going to have a hard time trying to balance a lot of our hands. So I think what we're doing is we're going to have to include some of these like 2-card backdoor flush draws in our range, minus like any of them that just kind of pair. We've got your gut shot, you got your overcards, your big overcards. And that's 29%, and then it looks like you're looking at like another 29%. Actually, we'll say 30%. 30% and 30% is top pair plus hands. And that's probably about right. I think, I'm not sure if I would have more. I think I'd probably skew it. I think it may be skewed a little bit more towards more value than bluffs in a 3-way pot. We want to play it, be a little bit more straightforward. And I think this is one way to do it. Instead of having 2 bluffs for every value, we can do 1-1. So I think that's going to be our cbet range here. So as long as we have backdoor. So if we had like clubs, we'll say 10 jack clubs, ace king clubs. I don't think we're gonna be betting. I chose not to bet here. Not sure. I don't think I really like that play. Maybe at the time I liked it. And it's possible that when we look at this, I was thinking, well, we can't bet all of it. But I think by betting, we're going to get called. And maybe this is what I was thinking. If I bet, I'm going to probably get called, and there's a lot of hands, a lot of overcards that could come that could really ruin it for me. But at the same time, if those overcards come, I could bet. I could still bet with those, like on an ace or a king or a queen, and I can buy equity. Is our hand value? Yeah, it kind of is with top pair. I think we're going to get called by worst because the board probably doesn't hit a lot of people. I think all of the underpairs are going to call. I think any 3 or any 4 is going to call. So I do think we're getting value. I think I missed this cbet here. I think I missed the cbet. So let's go ahead and just say we're going to add those. We're going to X these out. So right now, I think we just made a mistake. I think we missed a bet here, a value bet. So we missed the value bet, and then this guy checks behind. I do think a set would have bet here. I think an overpair probably would have bet. Maybe top pair too. Just kind of bet to try to get some value. He does c-bet about 50% of the time. Maybe he doesn't bet all of his top pair hands. Maybe these he doesn't bet. So we'll keep those as a check, and we'll keep all the weak ones as a check, along with draws. So we'll keep checks for him. All right, 9 of spades hits. That was great. See, if we c-bet, this is a great opportunity now to bet again. Or even just slow down depending on who's playing. I think if we bet if he called, we bet again. We're hoping he's going to check raise us because that 9 probably didn't help us at all. He doesn't know that it did, but it probably doesn't help us. So he can make a mistake. We can induce a bigger mistake by betting all the time. So villain 6 checks. Now we bet. We bet 2/3. That's kind of interesting. I mean, when you think about the hands that I have in my range, what would I do that with? And it's probably going to be something just like this. I'm going to be betting, top pair with the overcards, and maybe not even all of the overcards. I mean, if I do all of the overcards, I'm going to be betting way too much. So I'm kind of unbalanced with how I played it right at this point. We get called by this guy. So I do think 3 of a kind probably just calls. I think this is a 10 NL game. I kind of think 3 of a kind might wait to raise on the river. So we'll include a call here, and actually we'll scale to 50%. Say sometimes he raises, sometimes he doesn't. I think he's going to call with all of his pairs. He's not going to believe that we have a 9. He's got a flush draw. We'll give him a gut shot. So that's going to be his call. This last guy folds. And then it's on us. 7 of diamonds. We took our shot. We missed. Or we took a shot with all of our junk. We missed it. Because we got a call and then 7. So now we were just kind of hoping 7 bails us out. So definitely we would continue betting our full house. We did 2/3. Now I'll probably do maybe pot size bet again, something larger. I think it might make it look like it's trying to buy the pot. I fired a half pot. I think you could argue that smaller size makes it look like we're taking a weak stab at it. But out of all the hands in our range that we have left, that would definitely be a full house. And then just something weak. So you can see we're very unbalanced at this point. It should be fairly easy to kind of think that I don't have anything here. Villain calls. I'm going to exclude the full house at this point, and I think I'm going to exclude the 3 of a kind. I'm going to give him these pairs. I don't think I'm going to give him ace high. I don't think he's going to call that. But he does. He shows 6s, so that is one of those weak pair hands. Let's just kind of get that on there. So he called under the gun 3 big blind RFI in hijack with 6 of hearts, 6 of clubs. He is in position 3-way. He checked, called 66%, called 50%. All right, 9 of diamonds, 4 of spades, 3 of hearts, 9 of spades, 7 of diamonds. All right, so what do I think of the sand? I think I missed value. I mean, I did get paid on the turn and on the river, but I think I should have bet this on the flop. This is a cbet spot with our top pair. I think more often than not, we're going to need to make that cbet. Sixes are going to call. Sixes would probably call again on the turn. I don't think we're going to be betting it as large. So I think, you know, like a 1/3 c-bet on the flop, and then maybe half pot c-bet on the turn. Probably make about the same. And then when 7 comes out, I think we bet maybe about a third again or a half pot. I'm not sure if we could go larger. I think if we go pot size bet, we're going to get the sixes to fold on a dry board. But then again, I do see some people making those plays, those pot size bets, and people still get called. So maybe that is the play. Is we bet small on the flop, and then when the 9 comes, we kind of go for a pot size bet and really polarize our range. I mean, we could do that with the spade draws, along with our 9 and our overpairs and so forth. I'd be with an overpair. I'd be hesitant to bet that large because, you know, when we think about what villain's calling range is, it's going to include those 9s. He's going to have them in there. So I think betting pot, you're really just starting to narrow down the range. I think 9s would be calling, and maybe some overpairs. It would be hard for 6s to call at that point. I think I just have to try it and see what happens. And just try to figure out, do these people call that larger bet size? I don't think so, because I think it narrows the range, the calling range, but I could be wrong. So overall, I do think I messed up this hand. I did make some money on it, but I think I missed a c-bet. And then because I missed a c-bet, I missed some added value once that 9 came. So hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you do, look tomorrow for another one.